Many post-Endor Imperial warlords carved out large chunks of the former Empire, and Warlord Zsinj was the biggest post-Endor warlord in two ways. One, because his holdings after Endor stretched from the core to the outer rim, and two, because he was the fattest Imperial warlord of them all. Anyway, despite having control over such a large section of the galaxy, he was not the best and brightest tacticianer, as he lost 2 Super Star Destroyers and became public enemy number 1 for the New Republic, Empire, and the Greater Maldruud. Zsinj was a cautious and canny commander, making quick and devastating strikes against his targets and refusing to fight on any battleground that he had not chosen himself, which sounds strategically good but shows his inability to improvise. Right when Zsinj took his holdings and sent emissaries to the New Republic from planets he held, they downplayed Zinj's control and stated that they were independent worlds, which worked only to a certain degree but made the New Republic very suspicious. He also did some pretty epic Tom Clancy stuff, like secretly owning important businesses within the New Republic and Imperial territories, which made him a lot of money, provided him with material, and gave him some influence and covert assets on enemy worlds. But that doesn't account for the mass stupidity of Zsinj in battle. Additionally, Zsinj had absorbed other post-Endor warlords into his kingdom, but with the case of Terranold Screed, for instance, Zsinj executed him for even having communicational contact with Captain Pelion. So Zsinj didn't really reward anyone for joining his breakaway territory. Also, Screed was a highly competent and effective commander, so executing him was a huge waste for Zsinj, whose officers, as well as himself, didn't have the best capabilities in battle. When Truten Teradok carved out the Greater Maldruud, which bordered Zinj's kingdom, he took several planets and a great number of Victory-class Star Destroyers, being Crimson Command from Zsinj. This incident shows how overextended Zinj's empire was, just like his diet. When Zsinj carved out his massive part of the former empire, he just had to make it known that he controlled it all and made many enemies all along his territories, all of which had poor relations with him. Following his first defeat of Isard, the New Republic then turned to Zsinj as their primary target. What was left of the legitimate Galactic Empire would also have poor relations with Zsinj as well, and keep in mind that the Empire at this time, although not as strong as the pre-Endor Empire, was still significant as a belligerent. At the height of his power, Zsinj decided, in his infinite stupidity, that the best place to target was an Imperial shipyard at Kuat, which then caused the Empire to target Zsinj with the New Republic as well. During the battle, he was able to eventually steal the Super Star Destroyer Razor's Kiss, which was almost complete, but it would later be destroyed by New Republic starfighters, making this theft a little pointless as it turned the Empire against him, and he lost it pretty fast in a very humiliating way. The Imperial task force to hunt down Zsinj was led by Admiral Terran Rogris, and the Empire cooperated with Han Solo's fleet and the New Republic against Zsinj. For example, intelligence sharing occurred between the belligerents, and cooperation also occurred at the Battle of Vahaba, where Rogris used an interdictor to support Solo's fleet in an ambush on Zsinj. During the battle, one of Zinj's Star Destroyers was caught by the interdictor, and after the bridge was destroyed, despite the fact that the crew could still save the ship, Zsinj ordered the Star Destroyer to ram the interdictor, which didn't work out and cost him the Star Destroyer, as Rogris reversed the gravity wells. Afterwards, Zinj's Super Star Destroyer had been heavily damaged in the battle, and he retreated as the New Republic and Empire had light casualties. Zinj's Star Destroyer Red Gauntlet would also surrender after he retreated. Again, this shows that Zsinj had very little abilities in battles that he had not chosen, and loses his cool when things aren't going his way, as seen when he sacrificed a Star Destroyer for little to no gain. Also, the guy got the Empire and New Republic to cooperate against him, and at this point he's lost a Super Star Destroyer and has another one heavily damaged. So good job, idiot. Anyway, next came the Battle of Selagus, where the Solo fleet once again engaged Zinj's forces. During the battle, Zsinj would actually do something brilliant here, where he constructed the second death from the debris of the Razor's Kiss and had the shell of a Super Star Destroyer painted to appear as the Iron Fist. As Zsinj was losing the battle, Second Death arrived and used a night cloak to hide the Iron Fist as Zsinj retreated. So the Second Death appeared to be the Iron Fist when it was destroyed, but Zsinj would squander this opportunity, however. Zsinj was absolutely humiliated by Han Solo, and was such an idiot that he immediately, after faking his death, the overweight warlord just had to send a transmission to Han Solo to curse him out in a bunch of different languages. Zsinj just had to let everyone know that he was still alive, which shows two major aspects of his empire as well as one major tactical issue he had regarding even the idea of him being dead, where he didn't want anyone to think that he actually died. The first major issue presented by Zsinj revealing that he had survived was that his empire would fracture. Zsinj's troops had no loyalty to the Fat Man. Most of his stormtroopers would be folded back into the Empire, and the rest of his forces probably would turn to the Greater Maldrude under Truton Teratok. Even when faking the loss of the Iron Fist, Zsinj definitely did not want the galaxy thinking he had really died, or his empire would completely fall apart, declaring loyalty to whoever was closest. And this shows how unsustainable Zsinj as a warlord was. He needs to remain alive for his kingdom to survive. The second problem presented by the fact that Zsinj couldn't help but reveal he survived to all was that he had a very poor organization and command structure, especially regarding potential succession in his warlord kingdom. Without Zsinj, the kingdom would implode. Also, in other battles without Zsinj, the best his officers could do was gain a Pyrrhic victory. Zsinj also had very little governing structure that was respected by his forces. So his troops lacked any real loyalty to Zsinj's empire, and he had poor organizational structure for contingencies should he be killed. Additionally, the best of his officers sucked, because he killed his greatest officers. On the tactical and strategic side against the New Republic and Galactic Empire, Zsinj announcing that he was still alive immediately following faking his death shows that he was very impulsive and had zero intention of taking advantage of even the potential of being off the New Republic radar. But no, his ego matched his weight. He seriously hindered his political striking abilities based on how the New Republic would have reacted if he was presumed dead. But you see, he had such a poor organization for his kingdom that succession was also essentially impossible. Anyway, despite keeping the Iron Fist alive, the fall of Zsinj came at the Battle of Dathomir, where he fought against the New Republic, Hapans, and even a good bit of his own troops who had defected to the New Republic. Again, his empire had very little loyalty. Here, Zsinj lost a massive fleet and his damaged Super Star Destroyer Iron Fist along with his life. It's not known how many of his 40 Star Destroyers surrendered versus how many were destroyed in the battle, but with his large forces, Zsinj dealt considerably less damage to his enemies. The New Republic and Greater Maldrude as well as the Empire would then carve up Zsinj's empire in the post-Zsinj campaign as the remains of Zsinj's forces defected to whoever was closest to them. Overall, I think that Zsinj could have been an effective leader of his warlord kingdom, as shown with his non-combat skills in funding himself as well as the creation of the Second Death. But he had very little capabilities in battle other than just planning. The guy couldn't improvise and was willing to pointlessly sacrifice forces to ensure his retreat. Also, he lost 2 Super Star Destroyers. This is just my review of Zsinj being just a terrible warlord regarding military abilities and his political structure. Although not in my bottom 5 warlords, Zsinj was a pretty terrible commander. But what do you think? Was I too hard on Zsinj, or did I go too easy on him? Let me know in the comments, and thank you for watching.